Hello Jenga Diaspora Media Family, na mambo vipi? Hope everybody is doing well and that God has kept you safe. Many thanks for subscribing to this channel. Thank you for the returning subscribers. Thank you for the new subscribers. This is your home, and if you have not subscribed to this channel, kindly hit that button over there and become one of us in this forum. I want to appreciate all your comments, all your likes and your shares. I have tried as much as I can to respond to many of your comments. As to this one is also healthy to this YouTube channel. I want to mention here, in everything that you do in this life, always put God at the forefront. There is nobody who is special in this world than the other. So this is what happened. I won green card in the year 2021. I had applied 2020. So in May 2021, result came out. By then I was in Doha, Qatar. And remember, that's when COVID had hit us hard during 2019-2020. So I had left my young family, my wife. So I was leaving knowing very well that in December 2020, I will be back home to reunite again with my family. So COVID hit hard, you all know that. So there was no way, leave alone even traveling back home. There was no way I could get out of the camp that we were living. For those of you who are in Doha or have been in Gulf, those houses that we used to live. We used to live in a camp. And by then, we were in a place called industrial area. That is in Doha, Qatar. Industrial area is where immigrants are kept. It's where laborers are kept in Doha, Qatar. So I used to live in industrial area in a camp called Camp 48. And that's where we were during the moment and the time of COVID-19. So we had no otherwise, because by then I was working in airport, that is Hamad International Airport, which is the airport in Doha, Qatar. COVID came knocking. We were laid out of work in the month of, I think, April, and then we were forced to stay back in our camp for that whole period until, I think, December or November. So in everything that happens, that's why I started with the Bible quotation over there, that in everything that happens, whether it's good or bad, always give thanks to God. However bad or good you think you are, please know that it is not by your hand, it is by God's hand. So for me, COVID came with blessings. For me, COVID came with unthinkable or unimaginable. So in that 2020, while we were being cordoned in our camp, we could go out or we could come in. We were like the 4 lepers in the Bible who had been secluded, and they were set apart and they were quarantined because they had leprosy. And in the Bible times, when you had leprosy, you were not allowed to intermingle or to interact with the rest of the people. So that's what was happening to us. And many people were sent to quarantine. Many people were found sick of COVID. But I thank God because that one didn't happen to me. God had got good plans for me. And his plan for me was to save my life so that I can be a blessing to many. And the enemy knew right that. So that's why he wanted to bring those kind of confusion. But God was on our side. So while in quarantine, I decided to apply for green card, because by the month of October, when green cards are being applied, we were quarantined. Even getting out of the room, we were not getting out of the room. That camp had policemen in the two gates. We had two gates, so both gates there were policemen, and we were put in a room. We couldn't get out of that room. So that's how God works. God works in difficult situations. God works in unimaginable conditions. That's how God works. He works in ways that we cannot think or imagine. So by then we were just eating. The good thing, they were giving us food, and our company was good. It was giving us money for upkeep. We were sorted. For all those months we were there. So I decided, let me try and apply for this green card. And then I applied for my green card while in that bed. You see, these are the kind of beds immigrants sleep on, and even these one are a little bit good. Okay, so I was sleeping on top bed. So that top bed was my bed. By the time I resigned from this work, we had lived in more than 10 places. So by the time you are shifting to a new place, people had already booked the beds. So by the time you are going there, you can't get this bed. You can't get down bed. So those people who used to get down beds had a lot of connection, and I was not in a hurry for them. So this was my bed. Okay, and that is life. That's life in Doha, Qatar. So I decided in my upper bed, like an ego, let me apply for green card. So I entered my green card and I submitted it. I remember it was October 12th. Yes, so I submitted my green card and that was it. So I waited and the results came out in the month of May, I think 7th, 2021, and I realized that I had won. So the green card journey began from there. Did my DS260 process, submitted it. That is the end of 2021. So in 2022, I had already stayed 2 years now in Doha, Qatar. And remember, I left behind a newly wedded wife, left her in Kenya. I want to appreciate everybody who is working in the Gulf. You left your family, you left your wife, you left your kids, you left your father and mother, and went into unknown land, a land that you never know, a land that you don't know how you will survive. You don't know the outcome of the things that will happen. So I want to appreciate you people a lot. It is not easy leaving your wife, leaving your family to go look for green pastures in that new country, in that new environment. One thing I was telling God is that don't allow me to bring up my kids while I am in this side of the world, because what normally happens, if you're like leaving your country, many people go back after 2 years because that's when the contract is over. So this means if you left your wife pregnant, that kid will be born, and then you will just be speaking and bringing up that kid through a phone. And it was not like a guarantee that you will go back to your country after 2 years. Some people would stay there even after 5 years. So if you left a small kid of 1 year, or if you left your wife pregnant, you find that kid already grown. And I interacted with many people who were in that situation, and they used to say when they landed back home, this kid doesn't even recognize you. Even if you normally talk on phone, he or she knows that my dad is a phone dad. So when you go back home, anauliza, huyu ni baba wangu ule wa simu. Baba wangu ule wa simu amekuja. Mzae wa Kasimu amekuja. So that's the most challenging part I ever experienced with the life abroad. And it is not a good experience. It is a very bad experience. So that was it. 2 years out, I had to go back. In fact, I was supposed to go back in 2021, November. It didn't work. I wanted to go back in December. It didn't work. I wanted to go back in January. It didn't work. So I decided I'm now going to resign from work and go home. Do you remember, you cannot resign because you have one green card, since you don't know whether you will get a visa or whether you will get it to the interview. But I had faith. This is what faith can do. I knew that God has given me this one. There is no way He can snatch it from me. There is no way He can take it out of me. So I confidently, with a lot of faith, resigned from work. And by the month of April, I was done and I went back to Kenya. So going to Kenya, you know, situation back at home wasn't easy because I had one green card with the high case number, and I had not received my interview invitation. We call it second notification letter. I had not received my second notification letter. So I had to wait for the DV 2025. You are crying that you don't have your second notification letter. I am here to assure you that those notification letter will come. We cried until the month of August, so you still have some months to go. You know, God can just use one day and change everything and change the whole story. So never ever give up. Never ever say that it is done. No, there is still a chance. Once you win green card, there is another process of waiting for the interview letter, which is called a second notification letter. It's a very big hassle to wait for that second notification letter. So I went home. I had not had an interview date. I was new back in Kenya now. The small money that I had to preserve that money for the visa processing process. So I had to keep that money. So immediately I came back home. I stayed for 3 weeks, and now decided I couldn't start a business. You know, I couldn't start a business, and I couldn't like go to be employed or seek employment. No, I had to try to have other ways or other means to survive. And one thing that helped me to survive in Kenya is working as a hawker. I was a senior hawker back in Kenya. Even right now, you tell me that I don't have anything, I'll just go back in the streets and hawk. I'll hawk anything that can give me money. You know, a hawker, an itinerant trader. I was an itinerant trader. That was the most business that helped me to survive in Kenya, working as a hawker. So I started hawking. By then I think it was back to school. So I went and started collecting back to school stuffs, school bags in particular. And this one I was helped by one guy whom we used to work with before. I had done this kind of job before, so there was nothing new for me. And people used to talk and ask, this guy was in the Gulf, how comes he didn't come with the money? How do you come from Qatar and then you enter into the street to do hawking? Which kind of a life is this? So people used to talk. I was in Kakamega, but I knew what I was doing. I didn't want to spend even a single coin that I had kept for this process, because this process was to cater for me and my wife. So we needed like 600,000 for the whole process. So I decided I'm not going to touch that money, and the money that I had wasn't even enough to cater for the whole of this process. So those people who works in the Gulf, they know that money isn't enough. For you to save 600,000 or even 500,000, you have really tried. It's not an easy thing that you have done. You have really tried. So that was it. So I saved money and I started doing hawking. And this is the kind of hawking that I was doing. I was selling school bags, distributing it to people. So if you've not subscribed, kindly subscribe. Hit that subscription button, comment down there. Many thanks for watching. Jenga Diaspora Media. God bless you.